Whether we are interested in Ukraine withdrawing its troops from the areas under their control, we are not really interested about that. If the Kyiv authorities do not want peace, we will deliver on the objective of the special military operation by military means.
A burst of dramatic frontline footage is intensifying claims of battlefield momentum. On Saturday, Russian Chief of Staff told Putin that his men had captured Hulyaipole and Myrnohrad. The Defense Ministry even released footage showing troops waving the country's flags amid destroyed buildings. A day later, Russian forces say new territory has fallen, flags have been raised, and key defensive lines broken. And at the center of it all, a message from Vladimir Putin signaling what could come next. Russia's defense ministry released new footage on Saturday showing its forces taking control of Myrnohrad in the Donetsk People's Republic. The video captures close-quarters combat, a grenade thrown into a basement, and Russian troops advancing through damaged streets. In striking scenes, soldiers, some dressed as dead Mraz, Father Frost, wave Russian tricolor flags and embrace after the operation. According to Russia's defense ministry, units of the Vostok group of forces also carried out sustained offensive actions to take control of Hulyaipole in the Zaporizhzhia region. Multiple motorized rifle brigades and regiments were involved. Moscow claims Ukrainian defenses were heavily fortified, using terrain, water barriers, and dense urban development. After what Russia describes as fierce fighting, the settlement was brought under control. Russian officials say more than 76 square kilometers were secured, over 7,000 buildings cleared, and Russian flags raised across the area. Moscow claims Ukrainian units suffered heavy losses, with dozens of armored vehicles destroyed. Meanwhile, Russian forces say intense assault operations are underway near Kupiansk. Moscow claims its troops are striking Ukrainian positions on the approaches to the city, aiming to weaken defenses and expand control in the area.
I am the company commander of the 122nd Assault Regiment. I am currently in the city of Kupiansk in the northwest. We are conducting assault operations in enemy territories. Victory will be ours. Kupiansk is ours.
Ukraine's general staff rejected claims of Russian success in Hulyaipole and Myrnohrad, also known as Dmitrov, calling them false. However, Ukrainian officials acknowledged that the situation in several affected areas remains difficult, with intense fighting continuing along the line of contact. On the same day, Russia's chief of the general staff, Valery Gerasimov, briefed President Vladimir Putin on what Moscow describes as the capture of Myrnohrad in Donetsk, along with Stepnogorsk and Hulyaipole in the Zaporizhzhia region. Russian officials say these developments mark a significant shift along multiple fronts. President Putin described the developments as important results that open new prospects for advancing operations. He said the gains could reshape the operational picture, particularly in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia, where Russian forces are pressing forward. Speaking at the Joint Group of Forces command post, President Putin again highlighted Myrnohrad and Hulyaipole as key developments. He described Myrnohrad as a major step towards what he called the full liberation of the Donetsk People's Republic, and said control of Hulyaipole opens new prospects for advancing deeper into Zaporizhzhia. He delivered a stark warning. Accusing Kyiv's leadership of having no real interest in peace, Putin said Ukraine is in no hurry to resolve the conflict through negotiations. He claimed that Russia's rapid military advance has erased any incentive to allow Ukrainian forces to withdraw from occupied territories. And the message is unmistakable. If Kyiv refuses peace, Putin says Russia will achieve all special military operation goals by military means.
He once again traced the origins of the war to 2014, accusing Kyiv of denying what he calls the legitimate right of self-determination of southeastern regions. And the message is unmistakable. If Kyiv refuses peace, Putin says Russia will achieve all special military operation goals by military means.
The liberation of Dmitrov and Hulyaipole is an important result of combat operations. Liberation of Dmitrov is a major step towards full liberation of the Donetsk People's Republic. Hulyaipole is the second-largest city in the Zaporizhzhia region, and its liberation opens up good prospects for the development of an offensive in the Zaporizhzhia region. I congratulate you all on these results. Thank you all. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that the armed forces of the Russian Federation is firmly holding on to the initiative, continuing to do its task on special operations on the whole line of combat contact. I note the effective actions of units and detachments of the center group of forces in the course of the elimination of the AFU units encircled in the area of the Krasnoarmeysk-Dmitrov agglomeration. Control over the cities of Krasnoarmeysk and Dmitrov creates, as I said, good conditions for further development of the offensive and a complete liberation of the Donetsk People's Republic. Liberation of Hulyaipole city in the Zaporizhzhia region with the assault troops of the 5th Army is a record result, which was made possible thanks to the hard work of commanders and headquarters, careful all-round preparation of their personnel for a combat mission. High rates of the offensive of the Eastern Group of Forces units allow our troops to move forward, liberating the Zaporizhzhia region, practically following our enemy closely. I ask the commanders, and those commanders who are in touch with us, to convey my gratitude to all personnel who took on the task of liberating Dmitrov and Hulyaipole. Groups of forces commanders have to continue the task of leading the troops in accordance with the plans of the special military operation. We also see some smart people in the West who suggest that the Kyiv authorities accept decent conditions for ending the conflict that provide a good basis for ensuring Ukraine's security for a long-term historical perspective, for restoring the relations with Russia and the Ukrainian economy. We see that today, unfortunately, the leaders of the Kyiv regime are in no rush to resolve this conflict through peaceful means. I said this a year ago speaking at the Foreign Ministry. But today, judging by your reports and the pace of events on the front line, our interest in withdrawing Ukrainian military formations from the territories they currently occupy has effectively been reduced to zero. For a variety of reasons, the Kyiv authorities do not wish to end the matter peacefully. We will resolve all the tasks before us by armed means during a special military operation. Let's discuss the immediate tasks applicable to those groups whose commanders are currently attending our meeting.